Hello everyone, and this is the match between Wesley Stone and Magnus Carlsen, and Magnus is playing black, and that's really hard to win a lot of times. But let's see what we just saw. So here we go. We go with the E4 opening, E5, knight to F3. Knight to c6, bishop c4, so just regular development. Here we go. Okay, we got the two knights out there in black. Okay, notice the pawn position right here. Very interesting. He so is attacking now the knight, while Magnus Carlsen continues on the attack. Notice how fast his knights are coming in. Okay, now we move it away. All right, so we're now threatening the black pawn with the knight. Carlsen takes time to castle. So does not. He moves in with his bishop, protecting that pawn. So it's pawn protection. Now look at it's almost like a juxtapositioning of the bishop against the knight and bishop against this knight. Interesting. A very kind of symmetrical positioning, isn't it? All right, he's now attacking this knight. So he goes back and protects it. So now he's going after this pawn. Interestingly, the knight moves back. And this is when Stowe castles. He goes after this bishop. Bishop moves back. And now he has this interesting, again, silent rook move. Interesting rook moves. Okay, facing the white queen. Okay, knight on the rim is dim, but not in this case because this knight is attacking the bishop. So he moves the bishop. Magnus moves the bishop. Then we continue. Okay, we got two knights on the rim is dim, but he's now attacking the other bishop. So interesting. Magnus ignores this threat because it is protected by this knight. The bishop on f5. Okay, we continue now. The white bishop is attacking the black knight. Magnus ignores this threat. He goes after the white knight on the rim. He moves it. So moves it back. He takes, and now there's some taking finally by move 19, and we have this knight situation, and this pawn's quite close, very close to the king. I wonder what's going to happen. How did Magnus was able to get himself out of this one? Very curious. Let's continue. Okay, he moves up with his bishop, attacking this bishop, the bishop on f3. Okay, let's see what that move was. The pawn takes this knight, the black knight on c3. Okay, we got the queen moving in. Watch out when the queen moves with Magnus. Okay. We are attacking, by this move, we are attacking this pawn on f6 and also the h pawn, which is very close to the king, to the white king. Okay, so he moves it up to protect that pawn. He moves in by bishop takes f3. Okay, and now we are going against the queen. He eats up the pawn. Very nicely done. This was very nicely done. Very nice maneuvering, getting rid of that pawn that was so ready to attack the king. But we still had the possibility of the rook being there, but still, that's very close. Maybe the rook would have to move, or anything could happen. So he got rid of that threat. Okay, now he is threatening the rook. The rook gets out of the way, now threatening the bishop. Interesting. See how that is done? There's nothing more than just a bishop. There should have been more than one piece attacking this rook. It's like always. Now he's attacking the queen. The queen moves out of the way. Do you see how nicely it was for Magnus? That was key to get rid of that pawn on f6. Okay, the bishop now. I mean, the knight moves back with so. He takes. Feels almost like a blunder, but he took that. Okay, we are moving in. I wonder what happened here. Okay, the queens start to dance around. Okay, queen is attacking the pawn and the rook, the white queen, and the other pawn. But the pawns are protected. The rook is protected. I don't think he wants to lose his queen. So lots of threats there. Let's see how Magnus responds. All right, he moves over his rook. Okay. The f-file seems to be his favorite f-file here. The other game I've showed you guys, it was the f-file move. So now this is what is happening. He also moves the rook back into position to be closer for defense and attack. Let's see what happens next. We have the pawn moving aggressively, very aggressive, like no time to lose. He comes out with arms, with guns, barreling out like Wild Wild West. You want it, you got it. So here goes Magnus. All right, conservative move there. Just moving one pawn. Well, he can't go anymore because the knight would take. So that's all he can do. It's interesting. All right, he moves in. And now he's continuing to take over now the file. The queen takes over the file, continuing to I think eyeing this pawn. This pawn seems unprotected. Well, it is protected by the queen. So I wonder. It's almost like pinning the queen to this if he wants to save the pawn. Let's see what Magnus does. Okay, he moves in. Look at this move. He loves a very good maneuvering with the knight. Look at this. Wow, what a great move. Interesting. Very, very nicely done. Attacking the rook here. What will so do? Okay, he takes the threat away, and now he's got the pawn like staring down. Okay, so now he's attacking the rook. Magnus ignores this threat. Now his pawn is right at the throat of the king here, of the white king. Wow. And you know that the white king cannot take the black pawn. Genius. Very, very well done here. Okay. And this is where So resigned. Wow. This is what Magnus makes Magnus. The triple Magnus. The way he was able to bring his pawn and the way he was able to take out So's pawn is genius. Just you gotta look at this game again. Very genius. That's why he's the world champion. This is fine form. You know, it's a rapid game, but young people really love these rapid things nowadays. You know, everything's so rapid. But really nice game, Magnus Carlsen. Au revoir.